Okay, people, welcome back to another Tales from the TUBS. I'm still pondering on a theme song. I'm thinking something like Tales from the TUBS. Rambling never felt so good. Rambling always feels good. But I thought I'd get back to this tub, mad dash through the rest of it, because there's not a whole hell of a lot left to look at. The reason I haven't got back to this as fast as I was hoping is because even though I've been in this new space for a year, I still haven't figured out the flow and what I want to do with what wall and what space and everything, and it's a constant state of flux. I repurposed the boom that I was using for the camera and the mic in here that was pointed down in here, and probably sounding better than this new lav mic I'm testing out. I'm seeing how this works. Hopefully it sounds okay. And then I'm going handheld with my phone, which I've been doing a lot lately, so hopefully this works out okay. You're just here to look at the toys though, right? Not this. Not this. Not this. Just this. The first one that jumps out at me because of the vivid colors compared to a lot of the other drab figures in here is this Human Torch with the blues and the oranges and the flame effects. If it wasn't for the early Hasbro syndrome of weird face paints, proportions, and those ankle joints, this would be a pretty sweet Human Torch. Those flame attachments on the legs and the arms and the chest look pretty good, but then you get to the hair and it's painted. It should have been the same thing as this. I'm an angry Johnny. But then I do like the blues and whites. That's my Fantastic Four uniform. I know that the other one's more classic, but I don't know why. Maybe that was when I was reading, or that's what sticks out in my head. I saw it somewhere and thought, oh, blue and white is a nice contrast. Oh, I forgot to mention the hips, didn't I? Those are pinned up, so not great there either. But from a present standpoint, not terrible. Still not great though, especially compared to some of the things we get nowadays. What's next? What's next? How about Ronin? I don't even remember when or how this was released. I just remember thinking, Ronin? Just scroll down, look at the name of this channel, and all will be revealed. I like the color scheme on this too. The blacks are deep and dark, the golds are nice highlights, but then the greens pop out at you. It's just a nice look with the layered armor and everything. Proportions aren't too bad for when this came out, but then you get down to the ankles again and there's that hinge with the side to side. It's just, oh man, it kind of ruins the figure. Was Elektra early Hasbro too? I've got that leg turned all the way around, don't I? Let's fix this real quick. Oh. Yep, early Hasbro. I think they were trying to reduce the number of parts compared to the Toy Biz Marvel Legends ankles, or redefine them, refine them, because they were on the right track here. They just had the pins in the wrong spot. Ugly hips, but I will say compared to the original Elektra, this was kind of an upgrade. You know what I'm saying, right? We can only look back and go, well, at that time, it wasn't terrible, but it was better than what we had. So onward, upward is the only direction we can hope for. Oh, Hand Ninja. I should have went to him next because he reuses the Ronin body. Two peas in a pod, just a different head, and that's it. Colors are way more muted though compared to Ronin. Those pop, those blend in to shadow. It's Hand Ninja. They just strike from the darkness and then disappear or die. Oh, this poor Falcon. He's all twisted and turned around and missing wings. Yeah. Wait, no? Is that full wings? Am I thinking of the Hasbro one that went way further out? Check out the red plastic bleeding through there at the ankles and then at the hands. Gotta respect the pins because back in the day, we had double pins in the hands. Although most of the time it didn't make much sense to do it other than up the number on the packaging. But this is an open hand with a hinge and you close it. It's not a fist. It's not a grip. What's the deal? It's just there for extra movement. Did have an up and down hinge at the shoulder though because of wing spread. You don't see that much anymore. Good head sculpt and paint, but then, oh man, those striations on the pecs just, whew, I still can't help feeling I'm missing some wing, but I'm not. I don't think. That's weird to think about now. I remember this Rogue being sought after too, not because it's the most recognizable costume, but because of the Rogue we had before. This was an upgrade. The eyes were painted on a little crooked, but nicely painted, you know, for what they are. Here, no, you can't do that. Look from this side. Yeah, all the Rogue elements are there, a tiny jacket, some knee embellishments, a little costume two-tone going on, but it's still not any look I know. Hence being in the tub. It's not terrible. It does look pretty good, but it's outdated. That's it, yeah. Outdated. Speaking of, there's this domino that I think came in a 2-pack. In fact, are you kidding me? I couldn't have planned this better because here is reuse between two figures that were laying in a tub right beside each other. But again, another figure that is just outdated. But at the time, the details and everything, not too shabby at all. We got to add Domino to our shelf. Did this Captain America, was this a face-off Captain America that came with that Baron Strucker? Or am I making that up? Seems like Strucker was face-off, but man, check out those proportions. Woo, that's a lot of crotch space. Not bad head sculpt though, and I like the claw. Or well dang, did he come with this Red Skull? Because Red Skull uses the same body as Strucker. Or was that a variant? Oh, I really should do some research. How can I research something that I don't know I'm gonna run into though? I guess I could plug something in afterwards. I want to say there was 2 of these Captain Americas, which was the Captain America to get at the time. These do share bodies, just in a different color scheme, and heads, and Red Right Hand. Before looking at more figures, you'll notice that there's lots of bits and bobs, like this random Juggernaut hand. If I remember right, I always thought the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Juggernaut was long-armed, and I don't think I was alone, because you go back and look at pictures, those are some long arms. And I think at one point I tried to cut them shorter. Well, okay. Take this off, cut them shorter, bring the hands up, or at least attempted it, because if this is in here, I probably failed. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I tried. That's all you can do sometimes. Hammer for a Beta Ray Bill, I think we looked at previously. Same goes for this Black Knight shield. It's just a good hunk of plastic. I want to say this Captain America also showed up in a previous Tales from the Tubs, and if not, it's somewhere. Tornado siren test. It's Wednesday. If we haven't looked at him, he's in a comparison tub somewhere because I've pulled him out for... It's the Banshee! There's certain figures I keep out for comparison just to have. Hey, look at the old figure compared to the new figure. You know how it works. You've seen the reviews. Here's a hairpiece from somebody. I don't remember. Well, the future, Charles. I don't even remember where this figure went, but I have the helmet. Oh, I think I know where that goes. Couple of Psy for the Elektra from a minute ago, I think. Holy shit, I can't believe that's still in there. Eyes painted funky? Not a problem. Oh, look, it's another Juggernaut hand. Oh, and it looks like I tried to Dremel out the inside too to make a better fist, maybe, or something. I don't know. Sometimes I just sit at the desk and go, I wonder. And sometimes it pans out. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh, dang, a Wendigo tail. Is that Ares' axe or is that something else? No, I know what that is. That goes to a... Is that the Marvel Toys Conan from the Conan and Rawr 2-pack? I don't remember where the Black Queen was released. Was she... It doesn't matter. I don't remember if it was this or Emma Frost that we got this body first, but oh man, it is absolutely terrible. The proportions, trying to stand this thing. The only redeeming factor here was the head. And maybe the rose on the cape, but it was mostly the head. Pyro's another one that's been upgraded, but there's still a charm to this one. The hoses, the boots, and then that face. There's just something about it. It's kind of bug-like, but that was always kind of Pyro's look. But again, proportions play a lot into my own personal preference. This is lanky. It's too thin. It's got outdated articulation. The new one just stands in the display better. Although I do have some complaints about that head sculpt, but that's for a play day someday. soon. I don't remember how this Spider-Man was released. I know it's Hasbro though. Look at those ankles. Proportions are wonky, small head, big feet, thick legs. But I do like the blue overspray. It kind of highlights it in places instead of just being straight black plastic. Sunfire's another victim of updated figure coming out later. But again, the painted flames, that head sculpt, that translucent yellow plastic, this is not terrible. It's not. It just doesn't fit in with the rest of the display at this point. This Carnage, though, kind of works because of the wonky proportions, I think. The pink stands out nicely from the blacks and the reds of the body and the white eyes, I guess you could say. But I wish this moved better. It's got a little ankle tilt. It's loosey-goosey at this point, and those hips, those are just... This Moon Knight was a hell of a figure, though. The only reason it's in here is because the body is that gunmetal tone. I love how the head looks inside that cape. For the time, this was some nice flexy plastic, rubbery. It stays in place, but it also moves around. It gets out of the way when you want it to. And boy, does the Bullseye body bring back a lot of memories, a lot of customizing potential at the time. Again, we can only look at it from that time frame of, I'm gonna make everybody on it. And they had the same idea until the mold just gave up. Remember how soft it got later on? Just, here it is again. Here it is again. But boy, those initial customs, on fire. Here is an axe on a tube. I don't remember what this is. I know what this is, and we're due for an upgrade, Hasbro, especially with Titania coming. Is that the Marvel Select Infinity Gauntlet? I mentioned this Rogue a minute ago. It's a soft goods jacket. Does that mean it was the box set? But everyone knows this face by now. But I think, yes. I customized mine with a Soda Toys Lara Croft, I think. Body is still lanky as all hell and has articulation where it's not really needed. But I was always kind of proud of how much that face helped. Hell, I think I even sculpted that headband. Yeah, I used to sculpt at one point miserably. That's why I gave it up. This Age of Apocalypse Wolverine is very sentimental though. Then why do you throw it in a tub? Because saying that, the figure is outdated. Plus it's Age of Apocalypse. I know we've ran across a couple of the other Walmart Giant Man Wave figures like Captain Britain and maybe Sentry, but Wolverine, for some reason, reminds me of just how this came to be. At the time this released, I was a stay-at-home dad. It was just better that way. It worked out money-wise. Everyone was on the hunt down for this wave because it was Walmart exclusive. Then my wife got off late one night, went to Walmart in the wee hours, and there was a case. And they let her buy it. And she brought it home to me, unsuspecting that I'd even get this wave. So it was just kind of one of those, oh man. What I do now and everything, I like to blame on her. Because even before that, before we even started dating, she worked at Walmart in the mid-90s and hid me a Power of the Force 2 C-3PO. Because I'd said something about liking Star Wars and liking toys when I was younger, but I didn't have time for all that childish stuff. And then that started all this. And this was another step in that crazy journey of action figure collecting. So that's why I keep tubs. People always ask, why are you just leaving it? It's just in tubs. Get rid of it. You don't need it. Because every now and then, I like to dig back through and go, yeah, that's a little piece of my own personal history. Last but definitely not least, look at this big son of a bitch. This was our first foray into Build-A-Figures, and it absolutely changed the game, at least when it comes to Marvel Legends. This is the one that a lot of people measure all the following Build-A-Figures against. It was mind-blowing. It still is mind-blowing. I mean, look at this. The purples and the blues and the machinery sculpt underneath with the golds and the dry brush and the wear and the tear and just everything about this is downright phenomenal. The problem was, at least for me, I was a big fan of new X-Men, so this was Rover. I only needed one, but then all that variant business, and alternate figures and everything. I ended up with 2 of these somehow. And I remember back at the time, it was like, God, I got to spend another $7, $8 to finish this figure to get the extras. I can't be dropping $65 on a wave these days. That is just too much. My limit is $10 for anything. And that's how much times have changed since then. Sometimes they don't make them like they used to. This one's in the tub because, like I said, there's 2 of them. The other one is in the house, in the display. Well, I don't think it's in the display. I think I compared this to the Sentinel HasLab. And then it stayed beside that spot for a minute because I haven't even found a spot for the HasLab. Toy collecting. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh, one last thing. I did find Yellow Jacket, so that's good. That'll go back in the display. We need more Masters of Evil so I can put this. And that's the thing about it. We've gone over so many figures out of this tub, but there are so many more characters that we haven't had made or that we need upgrades to. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. So that's why I'm going to split my time between Tales from the Tubs, if you still want to see Tubs. The rest of them aren't as old and jumbled, you know what I mean? The rest are a bit more curated. DC Universe Classics tubs. I have Masters of the Universe Classics tubs. A couple of other things back there. I may have another random pieced out parts custom fodder type tub that it has all kinds of craziness in it. But I'm also going to be doing a lot more reading Robo, where I'm going through the handbooks and that kind of thing, and just wish listing. We have that, we have that, we need that. Oh man, we need that, we need that, need to upgrade to that. You know how it goes. But I wanted to finish this tub, even in the less than ideal setting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see more, let me know. We'll look through other collections, other things, other tubs. Oh, is this the Sentinel Tentacle? That's hard for me to say. I'm from Arkansas. Sentinel Tentacle. Or is this the something else? I can't even remember.